Yes, and let's address a couple of things more within the popular culture. For example, when Netflix show Narcos was aired, you had issues with it.
I didn't. They do have issues with society because they are, creating a new generation of kids that are willing to be like my father because they portray him as a hero, because they portray him as a success case.
Yeah. And also, you wrote an article in which you stated 28 mistakes that...
Just of the second season. If I wrote the mistakes of the first season, it'll take me a book to do.
Yeah, and after reading your book, I realized that there was many things portrayed very wrong. And I would like you to address just the most important ones. For example, your mother and or the participants of your uncle, right? Participation, of your uncle, and certain other things that didn't really happen in real life, but could.
Let me give you an example. It's like there's a scene where my father is with my little sister next to a fireplace, and she's like a bit cold, and my father is worried, and so he throws like $2 million to the fireplace. Come on, man! It's like, are we stupid or what?
Yes.
If we are we live in a tropical country, so that we don't have much fireplaces over there. And among all those things, we have woods, and you can use this to throw to the fireplace instead of, if you have $2 million in cash, will you throw them into that place, or will you use your table for that? Or your chair, or your, curtains, or whatever. You have several things, or books, to throw to the fireplace. So this is a perfect example of how they would like to glorify my father and to show that he has so much power that he could even, burn the money.
It's like
because he didn't care. But he did care about the money, and it's the kind of details that really make a difference in how my father is being portrayed. Because the big difference between the series from Narcos and my book, I can assure you this, let a kid watch the show Narcos, and he will like to be like my father. And after, let him read my book, and I assure you that he won't be having those crazy ideas of becoming like him.
Glorifying.
That's the great difference, there's responsibility that we use to tell our stories.
Yes, and this example that you mentioned kind of paints a picture of over-the-top characterization they were putting in order to portray him or glorify him as some supervillain, which creates an opposite effect in society. And there's also other things in your book that kind of contradict the picture that we have about him and the official history, which is very interesting, especially when we come to the Palace of Justice siege and the way the whole thing started, which we're going to talk about later on. But there's also another thing, the other things like certain details in this book which were previously unknown, and for the first time ever, I find out about them in this book. For example, you're mentioning Frank Sinatra in at one point, early in the book. Will you tell it? Will you tell the story?
Well, he was a great singer, and no one can deny that. But some of my father's associates had some business with him, and they used to say that he delivered more drugs than songs. That he was very, very good at the drug trafficking business. That's a story that I heard inside the Medellin cartel. And there was no need in that kind of atmosphere to lie about that. If they were saying that, it's because it was true. And it was very easy. And if I don't want to spoil Frank Sinatra's image. And back in those days, and I don't want to justify his actions at all, but back in those days, the drug trafficking business wasn't seen as bad as it seems today. It wasn't so demonized as it is today. So and even there's a word that changed. There was they were called smugglers, and that in a criminal range it looks like a less dangerous type of criminal who would not like to pay taxes or do something like illegal, but not as harmful as it is seen today and according to the law today. So in those times, it was like something that looked more natural, even between our society in Colombia. It was like, okay, he's a smuggler, but it never look at that kind of guys like, oh, be aware and take care because you could feel in danger. No, that wasn't the kind of situation, because as we spoke during the beginning, there was no controls. The authorities weren't prepared for that, so it was very easy for my father to achieve his own goals.
Yeah, and at this point, we should say that Frank Sinatra was part of the eastern United States, east coast of the United States, and upper east side, the New York State. And your father didn't do business over there; he was doing it in Florida, right?
Well, actually,
at the time.
I talked with a guy who was running some of my father's business to ask if there was some kind of a struggle or a fight between cartels. I want this corner is mine, and he said there was a lack of drug dealers, not a lack of corners, because he used to say every single kilo that arrived to the United States right away could be sold by anyone, could buy it. It was very easy for them to sell it. There wasn't enough drugs to feed the North Americans in those times. And about Sinatra, that's the thing I know and that I heard. And a lot of artists are part of the business even today. And I remember that my father received many letters from many different Latin American and international artists, asking him if they could work together because they travel with a lot of equipment and they could hide the drugs it would be very easy for them. So you cannot imagine how many people are truly involved in the drug trafficking business. I remember, sportsmen, congressmen, policemen, militaries. It was like everywhere, anybody could be part of the business.
Yeah, at one point it was so profitable and so big that actually once you mentioned, for example, the airport in Opa-locka, or is it that called? It's called like that. I never heard of it before. And when I tried to Google it, it said on its Wikipedia page that it's like a 15,000 people population, but it was like the murder capital of the States, the entire United States, for many, many years.
Imagine. Yeah. That's what's prohibition, and the combination of prohibition and drug trafficking makes violence. That's what it brings to the society.
Yeah. And what is it? I tried to Google it, but not many Google results came up, which was very surprising to me, considering we're talking about someone like Pablo Escobar. But you've been talking about is it? I'm hoping I'm not butchering it. Banana root. Is it
banana root?
Banana root. Banana. But there was some canal and smuggling with bananas, and they call it like the translation is
perhaps the translated, or perhaps is the funny because they use a boat for that, and fish, and this because of the smell of the fish is very difficult to feel the smell of the cocaine.
Yeah.
So the drug dealers, like my father, they were very, very creative in terms of how to smuggling drugs to the United States. They even my father invented a formula to put just inside of the jeans some cocaine, liquid cocaine.
Yeah,
and they needed to wash the jeans.
The jeans is a material.
This fabric.
In fabric, yeah.
This fabric. So when they arrived to the United States, they put it into some kind of bathtubs or something, and they just take out the cocaine out of the jeans. And if you look at the garment, it's like perfect, and it doesn't smell. So that's my father like invention. And of course, like 3 years after, the authorities saw that and they start, washing jeans and extracting the cocaine. But my father continued sending the same brand and same jeans, but now without cocaine.
Yeah.
So the DEA was like disappointed because, okay, they saw the boxes and they checked every one of them and no, even one gene with cocaine. So they threw the boxes to the garbage, and the boxes were the ones who contained the cocaine.
Yeah.
So that's the way that my father used and manipulated the DEA agents to smuggle the drugs to the United States. He used the jeans until they found out, and then he used the boxes, which they throw away to the garbage.